Hello, everybody. I'd like to point out today's version of Escondido Times Advocate, July 24th, 2025. On July 23rd, I spoke about the failure of the mayor's homeless policies, the treatment first policies, and the next day he jump-started his campaign to be re-elected, even though he ran on ending the decline of Escondido and treatment first. Oh, baby, if you just get treatment. And now Trump, with his executive order, kind of jump-started the treatment, which costs taxpayers a ton of money because some of these people need treatment 50 times. And our supervisor, the talking head, Jim Desmond, treatment, he's all over. What happens after these people get treatment? What these politicians like Gavin Newsom want to do is put them in free apartments on property overlooking the ocean in Palisades. It's not fair. We have our seniors and veterans struggling to find a place to live, even our young people. My daughter is a 911 dispatcher and said some of her colleagues that she works with live in their cars because it's not worth trying to pay rent somewhere. You don't deserve to get rewarded for bad behavior. The Escondido Police Department tell me that these people are a criminal class of people. They have warrants, they have drugs, they trespass, they don't care about you or your property. My fellow neighbors on next door have had bicycles, catalytic converters, packages from Amazon, their mail stolen. You know, if people make bad choices, society shouldn't have to have them be the burden that they have to bear. They need to be put in treatment to get stabilized and then go be tried for their crimes and go to prison, hopefully for a long time. I mean, today, with the security cameras everywhere, it must be easy to find out who commits the crimes. We need the laws that allow us to enforce them. We need to throw these people in prison where they belong, and there are plenty of them around because these detention centers are going up everywhere. I think there are 200 detention centers in America right now. That's one thing. There's also a big population of homeless who are mentally ill, and I've seen them myself. They're on the street talking to no one. I was sitting on a bus bench one day, and this older lady starts screaming in my face at Shirley, and I don't know who Shirley is. It's someone she knows. And I did call the police, but the bus came before they got there, and I just ran and jumped on the bus and got out of there. As an older woman who didn't have a car for 6 years, I know only too well the stuff that's going on out there. This guy asked me, he was a disabled guy, and he asked me if I'd have a cup of coffee with him while I waited for the bus. And I said, no, I was married. And he said, at least give me a hug. And he started backing me into some bushes, and it caused me to panic. I ran all the way home. I had him follow me home. I have him stand behind me at the ATM. Look at how nervous I'm getting just talking about it. They're standing behind me asking money while I'm making a deposit in the ATM. They're standing in the parking lot at Albertsons asking me to give them $4 wow, inflation has hit the panhandlers too. They used to ask for $1 and now they're asking for $4. Tougher stance on crime. That's what the police say, and I believe it. So the mayor, now that I'm exposing his policy failures, is panicking and announced his run for re-election because he's been so successful. Go look at the street in front of the Goodwill. The management there allows these vagrants to lay on their property in filth and destruction and squalor. So, mayor has prioritized homelessness, public safety, and small business. Measure I, profits, the 1% sales tax, is going to go to the police, fire, and who knows who else I'm going to be at the Citizens Oversight Committee on August 6th. Some of those profits apparently have been given to contractors in Consuelo Martinez's district before the first Oversight Committee even met. It's for patrols. The patrols are just a temporary fix. The cops get them out of there and they come right back. It's whack-a-mole. It's playing a game of whack-a-mole. And I'd like to know how her contractors got access to the funds when it's this oversight committee is supposed to be figuring out what to do with them. The voters approved it 60-40, and our sales tax went up by 1% in Escondido. Now, here we go. Here in Escondido Times Advocate is the old boys club, right, all ready to get behind our mayor, who has failed us, who hasn't got a clue, who is on video on YouTube saying, well, no one else wanted to run, so I thought I would. He hasn't got, he's actually on the side of the people living in the street because he used to be there. He was on drugs and living behind 7-Eleven and Country Club. I'm on the side of the taxpayers. I'm on the side of the residents who want to be able to walk down the street without being accosted. So 200 people of the Old Boys Network attended Dane White's event for re-election announcement. And let's see, Ed Gallo, he was tossed out because some fishy redistricting went on because he supported getting illegal aliens out of Escondido. And all of a sudden, all the Latinos voted for Consuelo Martinez. And there you are, not white man knocked out of office. And here's Adrian Cisneros, selectman. She works for Supervisor Jim Desmond. And I'll tell you something, talking about an airhead, I called his office a couple of years ago because I was desperate. My husband had dementia and was dying, filled with squalor in my room because he wouldn't consent to get any kind of help. As it turned out, he had cancer and uncontrolled diabetes and kidney problems. He was a veteran, so I kept calling everywhere, and everyone kept telling me where to call, and I just had this endless cycle. I couldn't find how to access any help for him. The answer was he had not been in for life, so he was not eligible, which is fine. But I called Jim Desmond's office and desperately asked for help. And Adrian says, I said, are there any services for veterans? She said, yes. And that was the end of the conversation. She hung up. But she's like our city council member, Judy Fitzgerald, goes down and gets her picture taken. They think they're supermodels, and they get their pictures taken with beauty queens. You know, if only they had the brains that looked as good as their bodies. Sorry, but, you know, I'm Scottish like Trump. We say what we think. So, oh boy, George Weir. Yeah, George Weir is a big business owner. It's just the old boys club. Vista Mayor, I don't know anything about him. He's running for board of supervisors. John Franklin, city treasurer Doug Schultz, Elliot Kagan, board member of the San Diego County Gun Owners. All right, get behind him. They've all made asses out of themselves by getting their picture taken and stumping for him because his policies are failing. I could go down here to the bridge right now and find a homeless person there. They just move from one spot in Escondido to the other. And it's really infuriating to me when I see people just getting in on the system and smiling and saying they got the answers, and they bring nothing to the table. So I wrote out a statement, and I'm going to be taking it to the Times Advocate tomorrow, although they're big time behind the mayor too. It's ridiculous. They ought to be ashamed. And I'm going to go down there and see if they will publish my letter. I doubt it. This is part of it. Officers with the Escondido Police Department consider the homeless addicts a criminal class of people. Many have warrants and offenses such as drug dealing and trespassing, and many are gang members. Diseases such as scabies, tinea, infection, pediculosis, HIV, and hepatitis are common among vagrants. As mayor, I will work with nonprofits to keep the vagrants off the street. I will take a tough on crime approach and will contact the state and federal government to get our laws strengthened and enforced. Both of my grandfathers were police officers, and my daughter is a 911 dispatcher for the city of San Diego. We support law and order and a strong family atmosphere for all residents of California. I have an associate's degree in accounting from Palomar Community College, class of 1982, and a bachelor's degree in economics from San Diego State University, class of 1984. I will be a good steward of your tax dollars and will make the city of Escondido solvent. I'm 66 years old, and trust me, I don't give a darn about getting my picture taken. I'm about getting my hands on the books and taking action to make Escondido a great place to live, as great as it was when I was a kid. And thank you for listening.